Rich Dad and Poor Dad. So, quick discussion na lang tayo dito since na topic naman na natin to kay Sir Marvin. So, ito yung libro na sinulat ni Robert T. Kiyosaki about sa dalawang taong nag-mentor sa kanya nung bata siya about sa pera. Yung isang nag-mentor sa kanya na nirefer niya as poor dad is yung biological father niya. Kasi daw, may poor dad mentality. Like, ang sinasabi daw sa kanya nung tinanong niya kung paano magpayaman, ang sinabi sa kanya, mag-aral kang mabuti para sa hinaharap in the future may maganda ang trabaho. Meanwhile, yung tatay nung kaibigan niya, which is nirefer niya as rich dad, tinuruan sila kung paano mag-handle ng pera. Tinuruan sila about sa pera. Pinagtrabaho nga sila 10 cents a week daw yung sweldo. Hanggang dumating yung time na hindi na sila sinesweldohan. Para daw matuto ng skills. Magtatrabaho sila para sa skills, hindi sa pera. So, yun. Tapos, kay Dave Ramsey tayo, may quote siya na, we buy things we don't need with money. We don't have to impress people we don't like. So, tapos, nandito rin si Will Smith, sinasabi na, too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like. So, ang sinasabi niya dito, parang pera ng magulang yung ginagastos ng ibang tao. Kasi hindi pa naman kumikita yung mga bata, mga nasa poder pa ng magulang. Pero ginagastos nila yung pera. Then, ito pa yung tinuro ng Rich Dad. Ito pa yung tinuro sa atin ng Rich Dad, Poor Dad na libro about asset and liabilities. So, ang asset, ayun yung mga bagay na pwede mong pag-investan, tapos babalik sa'yo yung in-invest mo. Tapos, may babalik pang extra hanggang sa dadami yung pera mo. Like, mga lupa, bukid, mga real estate. Yun yung mga tulad ng asset. Tapos, sa liabilities naman, yun yung mga bagay na pinagkakagastosan mo, pero wala namang bumabalik sa'yo na pera. Like, ang nagagamit mo lang, ito yung mga bagay na tulad ng kotse, alak, bahay, mga hulugan. Yun ang mga liabilities.
Let's check the normal individual cash flow. So, sa normal individual cash flow po, nakapokus sa job, income na napupunta sa expenses at liabilities. Ang napapansin po natin dito ay no assets. So, yung income po nila ay napupunta lang sa expenses at liabilities nila. At wala pong natitira sa kanila. Dito lang po tayo sa Rich Dad cash flows. So, dito po sa Rich Dad cash flows, yung job po nila ay ang kalahati po ay napupunta sa expenses at yung iba naman po ay napupunta sa assets na nagbibigay ng passive income sa kanila or nagpapalago ng kanilang pera. Let's compare the rich mindset and the poor mindset. Poor mindset said that study hard so you can find a good company to work for. And the rich mindset said that study hard so you can find a company to buy. So makikita po natin that both dads work hard but have opposite attitude. Yung poor dad po ay may specific goal or may own satisfaction po doon sa gusto niya gawin. And the rich dad po ay willing to take risks, tapos mas mataas po ang kanyang gusto marating. So, nagiging bigger factor po sa kanilang buhay ang kanilang attitude. Magiging dahilan bakit kung ano sila sa future. Yung isa po ay naging rich, yung isa naman po ay hindi. So, instead of don't take risk, learn to manage risk. Instead of I can't afford that, how can I afford that? Yun po. Sa sa atin po kasi, or sa buhay po natin, minsan po nauunahan tayo ng takot. Instead na panghinaan, muna tayo, isang po natin loob natin, at learn to manage risk, or pag-aralan muna natin yung i-take natin na risk para po sure tayo. Thank you. Learn to use your emotion to think, not think with your emotion. Minsan po habang tayo nag-iisip or nagpaplano ay nauunahan po tayo ng fear, anxiety, or doubts. Kaya hindi po natin tinutuloy mga gusto natin gawin or mag-take ng risk. Minsan po kailangan nating iwasan mga ito or laksan ang ating loob para ma-overcome ang mga emotion na ito. And lastly, said that no one can ever got rich working 9 to 5. So, ibig sabihin po nito ay wala pong nagiging mayaman sa pag-work ng 9 to 5 hours. Instead of traditional job na mag-work ka 9 to 5 hours, kailangan din po natin magkaroon ng mga side hustles, negosyo, at mga assets po natin na magagamit natin sa ating future para maging future secure po tayo. Kung tayo po ay mag-retire na sa ating work, at yun po, magiging future secure po tayo. In this slide, meron po tayong formulated equation about sa buhay ng tao. Life expectancy po natin is 75 years. Awareness is 12 years old. Simula tayo magka-awareness. 12 years old tayo. 75 minus 12 is equal to 63 years. Sleep natin ay 8 hours. Work is 26 minus 60. 8 hours plus 2 hours. So, 75% po of our 34 years is allotted for sleeping and working. 34 times 0.75 is equal to 25.5 years, and 29 times 0.33, 99.6 years. So 63 minus 36 is 27 years. So meron po tayong 27 years para enjoy ng buhay. So may tanong po ako. Out of that 27 years, how many are being allotted to sadness, anger, or frustration, or no money? Life is short. There are a lot of money in this world. If you are good, you have a fair share of it. So, di lang po sa pagiging magaling sa mga bagay-bagay or skilled ka. Minsan po nagiging factor din ang pagiging swerte, lugar nyo, tapos hard work mo. Ang success po ay nakukuha sa pamamagitan ng mix, hard work, and talent. At kung paano po ito papakinabangan or paano mo ito ihaharapin. Ay naman po kay Warren Buffett, risks come from not knowing what you're doing. So kung alam mo naman po yung risk na papasukin mo or trabaho or yung lugar na papasukin mo, hindi ka po matatakot na i-take ito or hindi malo mo maging part siya nag-success mo. So take a risk if you know it.
So, ayun. Good day, good afternoon, or good morning, whatever it is. So, unang oras mo pinanood to. So, ayun. So, I'm going to start with my presentation of tenorship in Unit 1. So, ano nga ba yung asa Unit 1? So, first, we're going to talk about technology. So, ano ba yung technology? So, papadalin ko na lang. So, technology, ito yung bali, scientific knowledge to give an easier solution to problems within the society or the specific individual. So, ayun, sabi lang naman dito, yung technology, ito yung tumutulong sa atin para magkaroon ng madaling solusyon sa mga problema natin. So, next is invention. So, invention from the word itself naman, siguro alam naman natin kung ano invention, ito yung creation natin na wala pa kahit isa bagay sa mundo nakamuka. So, kaya tinawag siya invention kasi nilikha mo siya. Then, next is innovation. So, sa innovation naman, sa madaling salita, yung innovation, ito yung ginagawa kapagka yung invention mo is may gusto ka pang i-improve or may gusto ko idagdag. Like, for example, nag-invent ako ng laptop. Then, sa innovation naman, i-improve ko yung laptop. Ayan. So, matatawag natin to na invention and innovation is magkasama pero magkaiba sila. Then, ayan, ngayon naman, masasabi natin na ang isang bagay is, yung business natin is technoship when kapagka ano, ang ginamit natin is yung process niya from our business to the customer is used by high-tech. So, yun, pagka high-tech na siya, ang business is tinatawag na technopreneurship. So, ayun. Next tayo. So, next is pain point versus solution. So, ano ba yung pain point? So, first, sabihin lang natin kung ano yung pain point. So, what are customer pain points? A pain point is a specific problem that prospective customer of your business are experiencing. In other words, you can think of pain point as problems, plain and simple. So, ayun, sabi dito, yung pain point daw, ito yung nagiging experience ng mga customer natin sa business natin. So, ayun, ang key component lang naman sa marketing and businesses in general is understanding the customer pain point and then delivering the solution to those pain points. So, ayun. Kasi majority sa atin is yung mga marketers, they do not understand what pain point truly are. And instead, they think about the solution that are actually the pain points. So, ayun. So, ano nga ba kasi dapat ang gagawin natin imbis na mag-solution lang or pain points? So, sa pain points, kung makikita nyo dito sa may picture nito, sa ibaba. So, ayun nakalagay dito, pain point versus solution. So, sabi dito, I need a bandage, not a pain point. It is a solution. I need to stop the knee from bleeding. So, pain point. Then sabi pa dito, I need a drill bit, not a pain point. It's a solution. I need to make a hole. Yun yung pain point. So, ang point lang naman dito ng pain point and solution is yung pain point, sinasabi dito yung sinasabi dito yung kailangan mong magawa. Like, kamukha nga dito, I need to stop the knee from bleeding. So, sa pain point, sinabi niya dito na kailangan mapatigil niya yung pagdurugo. Then, dito naman sa solution, binigyan siya ng bandage. So, pinakaiba lang niya is yung dun sa solution, syempre, binibigyan mo ng solution. Then, sa pain point, sinasabi niya dito kung ano yung problema. So, ayan, next tayo. So, ayan, sabi dito, pain point versus solution. So, in a sketch on the previous slide, a marketer will hear someone saying that they need a bandage. So, the marketer will present them with a bandage. A great bandage, a bandage that stays well, but doesn't hurt when it feels off. A bandage that keeps out infection. A bandage with all from frozen and giving the wound nice warm hug. But the bandage is just the solution, not the pain point. The actual pain point is that the person wants to stop their leg from bleeding. Understanding that as the pain point, the marketing of the solution becomes very different. So, ayan, sabi nga sa binasa ko, kung ano sinabi ko kanina, is yung pain point is kailangan malaman natin kung ano ba talaga yung pangangailangan ng mga customer. Hindi natin kailangan alamin yung solution para sa kanila. Kasi, possible na magbigay tayo ng solution then hindi pala yun yung kailangan nila. So, dapat alam natin kung ano yung pain point ng mga customer about sa businesses natin. So, ayan. The solution could still be bandage. Tama nga naman kasi. Pero, sa bandage na kailangan natin is yung tightly pulled together, the wound to stop the wounds bleeding. Then, it will be a bandage that sticks to the skin, even if the skin is wet with sweat. The new solution could also be the medical glue that will stop the bleeding immediately. So here, the key is that the solution should address the customer's true pain point. The marketing shouldn't be about the product. It should be about the elevation of the pain point. Ayan, sabi nga dito na dapat yung binibigay natin is yung kailangan alam natin kung ano yung pain point ng customer natin para maibigay talaga natin kung ano yung totoong solution. So, next. So, the myth of Henry C. Ford saying, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said, faster horse. Still holds a very important lesson in it. It's not about ignoring the customer feedback. It's about getting the root of pain point customer have. So, ayan, sabi lang naman dito, yung the pain point has nothing to do with horses or cars. The pain point is that people want to get one place to another quickly and efficiently. But people see only solution to that being faster horse. So, ayun. Sa meet ni Henry Ford, sinasabi dito na yung mga customer is tinatanong niya kung ano yung kailangan nila. Then, ang sasabihin lang nila is faster horse. So, ang gusto ng mga customer is makuha lang yung pinaka-solution dun sa pain point nila. So, ayun, sabi nga dito, identifying pain point. Customer experience pain point in many ways, but oftentimes, they don't know how to tell you what that pain point truly is. So, they ask for a solution. So, sabi nga dito, yung identifying yung pain point. So, the customer experience pain is in many ways. So, kagaya nga nun dun sa sinasabi ni Henry Ford na yung gusto ng mga tao is makahanap ng isang mabilis na kabayo. So, magkaroon ng mabilis na kabayo. So, pero hindi nila alam kung ano talaga yung pinaka pain point nila. So, ang binibigay lang nila is solution dun sa problema nila. So, one way to get a customer pain point is to ask open-ended question and follow up. In the classic example from the Theodore Leavitt in the sketch above, if something walks into a hardware store looking for a 1/4 drill bit, their pain point is that they need a 1/4 bit. Their point is that they need a 1/4 hole. Don't ask them what the kind of feature they want to drill bit, but ask them what they want to drill bit for. As the expert, you will be known what they prescribe to them. So, ayun, sabi lang naman dun is, yung, sa example nila is yung customer is naghahanap sila ng drill bit na kayang bumutas ng 1/4 yung size. So, ayun, as a marketing, so, hindi ko isasuggest sa kanila na ito yung drill bit na 1/4 kasi possible yung drill bit na 1/4 is mas malaking maging butas. So, pwede naman ako magbigay ng ibang drill bit na kayang bumutas ng sakto sa kailangan nila. Like, for example, kasi kailangan nila ng 1/4 yung butas, hindi naman nila kailangan yung 1/4 na drill bit. So, ayun. And then, last, sa unit 1, so ayun. If you understand the underlying pain points your customer have, your approach to innovation completely change. The way you speak to your audience change. You don't hype a solution, but rather call out how the solution alleviates the pain point. So, ayun, sabi lang naman dito, yung kung naintindihan mo kung ano yung pain point ng customer mo, mas madali mo sila ma-approach, mas madali mo masasabi dito kung ano yung nila, kailangan talaga, hindi lang yung solution sa pangangailangan nila. So, ayun, sabi nga dito, you connect with them, you build trust with them, because you understand them. So, ayun, hindi dapat pagka nag-business ka is dapat nakukuha mo yung gusto ng mga tao, like napapabili mo sila. So, ayun, dapat pag nag-business ka, dapat nakukuha mo yung tiwala nila para masasabi nila sa'yo ng maayos yung feedback nila, kung ano yung pain point nila, hindi yung solution lang nila sa product mo. So, sa business mo, ganun. Kaya, yun, kaya importante ang malaman mo ang pain point ng customer mo if magtatayo ka ng business. So, with that, thank you so much for listening.
Unit 2, Customer Segments. Ano nga ba ang customer and end users? Customer is the person who paid the price and purchased the goods or services of a certain producer or a business. Therefore, the customer is not essentially the end users as well. The customer may pay the price and buy the products and give them to a different person who then becomes the end user of them. Sa madalit sabi, ang customer, ito yung mga bumibili ng kanilang mga produkto. Ang end users naman is the person who consume the uses, the goods or services. The customer can be end user as well, however not in all cases. Nonetheless, it is the end user who will know the genuine quality and the nature of the product of the service, since this is the end user who consumes it. Sa madalit sabi, ang end user, ito yung mga gumagamit ng kanilang goods or services. Andito yung mga example. Sa product services, diapers. Sa customers naman, parents. Tapos sa end users, babies. Ito pa, ventilation. Sa customer, hospital. End user, patients. Business software. Sa customers, company. End users, employee. engagement ring, customers the boy, end users the girl. Sa car, customers owner, end user owner pa rin. Dog food, customers dog owner, end user dog. What is stakeholders? Ang stakeholder ay isang partido na may interest sa isang kumpanya at makaapekto o maapektuhan ng negosyo. Ang pangunahing mga stakeholder ay isang typical ng corporation ay ang mga namumuhunan, empleyado, customer at taga-tustos nito. So, andito yung mga uri ng stakeholders. So, sa una, internal stakeholders. Dito nakapaloob yung owners tsaka employees. Sa external stakeholders naman yung customers, suppliers, investors, creditors, media, communities, trade unions, government agencies. What is an influencer? An influencer is someone who has the power to affect the purchasing decision of others because of their authority, knowledge, position, or relationship with their audiences, and a following in a distinct niche which whom they actively engage. The size of the following depends on the size of their topic of the niche. So, sila yung mga taong may kapangyarihan makaapekto sa mga desisyon sa pagbili ng iba dahil sa kanilang authority, knowledge, at iba pa. So, what is segment? What is customer segments? Customer segments are the different groups of people or organization your enterprise aims to reach and serve. This includes users who might not generate revenues but which are necessary for the business model to work. Ang customer service ay isang patakaran ng marketing sa paghahati ng customer batay sa subgroups. Maaari itong geographic, demographic, psychographic, behavioral, or iba pang katangian. So, narito yung types of customer service. Mass market, niche, segment, diversified, multi-sided. Mass market. Products and services which target mass market segment have a broad appeal and often cover the overall population. Example, the mass market approach doesn't rely on any specific segmentation and instead aims to be efficient by treating everyone the same. In reality, there are very companies that do this. Most companies apply some level of segmentation. So, ang mass market, tinutukoy din ito ang isang merkado para sa mga kalakal na ginawa sa isang malaking bilang ng mga end consumer. Niche market. A niche market refers to a specific customer segment with highly defined characteristics. This segment requires a highly tailored product, custom-made to suit their needs. Therefore, the value proposition, channels, and customer relationships are tightly defined by the preferences of this particular customer segment. So, ang niche market ay nakatuon lang sa isang particular na produkto. Tinutukoy ng market niche ang mga feature ng produkto na naglalayong matugunan ang mga particular na pangangailangan sa merkado. Gayon din ang hanay ng presyo, kalidad ng production, at ang mga demograpiko na nilalayo nitong i-target.
Segmented business models target different market groups with distinct needs. For example, Credit Suisse divides customer by asset size, tailoring by their services accordingly. Micro-precision system similarly serves specific industries like watchmaking and medical, customizing its offer to each sector needs. This strategy helps businesses meet the unique requirements of each segment more effectively. A diversified business model targets a broad range of customer groups with varied needs. Companies often pursue diversification to explore new markets or leverage existing resources. For instance, Amazon expanded into cloud services by utilizing its existing infrastructure, while Apple ventured into Apple TV. rebuilding on its previous success with Apple Music. This approach allows businesses to spread their risk and capitalize on different markets opportunities. Multi-sided platform serves multiple interdependent customer segments that are crucial for the business success. For example, a credit card company needs both a substantial number of cardholders and a wide network of merchants to facilitate transactions. Both customer segments are essential for the business model to be effective. Market segmentation involves dividing a broad target market into smaller, more specific groups based on shared characteristics. This approach allows businesses to tailor their strategies and offering to meet the unique needs of each segment. The main types of market segments include demographic segmentation based on characteristics like age, gender, income, and education. Psychographic segmentation based on lifestyle, values, and personality traits. Behavioral segmentation based on consumer behaviors such as purchase patterns and brand loyalty. Geographic segmentation based on location such as region, city, or neighborhood. Demographic segmentation involves categorizing a market based on statistical data about individuals such as age, gender, income, occupation, education, and ethnicity. This approach helps businesses tailor their products and marketing strategies to specific demographic groups. Psychographic segmentation classifies audiences by their psychological traits, including personality, values, and lifestyle. This helps businesses tailor marketing strategies to align with different motivation and preferences. Behavioral segmentation classifies customers based on their action and interaction with products such as purchasing habits, spending patterns, and brand engagement. This approach helps businesses in standard and target customer behavior and preferences. Geographic segmentation divides the market based on locations such as country, city, or neighborhood, and factors like climate or urban versus rural areas. This approach helps businesses tailor their offerings to the specific needs of customers in different locations.
So may tanong po dito, is it important for the customer to be informed first of the benefits they will get upon buying a product or services for an enterprise? Or no need for that since every buyer obviously knows the purpose of what they are buying? So, para sa akin po, kailangan din po natin malaman yung makukuha po natin benefits sa isang product or kung ano may dudulot nito sa atin bago to bilhin. Hindi po yung basta-basta bibili na lang tayo ng magustuhan po natin, yung alam po natin. Hindi lang po dahil na alam natin maganda yung product na yon, kundi dahil may maganda po may dudulot sa atin. Ayon naman po kay Henry Ford, a man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops the clock to save time. So, ito po ay napakaganda pong kwan sa mga may business or magkukonduct ng business nila. Yung pag-advertise po is an essential component of any successful business. Kung titignan niyo po sa mga successful companies, hindi po sila na tumitigil sa pag-advertise ng kanilang product para po sa mga maraming buyers na bumili sa kanila. So, pag kakaroon po ng mga dahilan mga tao para bumili sa kanila dahil po sa kanilang pag-advertise, pag-aalok, or pagpapaganda po ng kanilang product. Ayon naman po kay Stuart Anderson Britt, doing business without advertising is like winking at girl in the dark. You know what you're doing but nobody else does. So, kung gagawa po tayo ng business, i-sure po natin na magkaroon tayo ng advertisement para po maraming alam kung ano yung business natin. So, kung mas marami pong tao, mas madami pong bibili, or mas malalago pa po ang ating business. At mas kikita pa tayo at maging successful. Ayon naman po kay Milan Kundera, business has only two functions, marketing and innovation. So, in marketing po ay kailangan po alam natin mga target market natin, kung sino ang dapat nating bentahan, kung ano ang mga kailangan doon. Tsaka innovation, di po tayo magsasawang palaguin or mas pa-improvein po ang ating mga product or para sa ating business para mas lumago pa ito at malaki ang matutulong ito sa atin. Ayon naman po kay Leo Burnett, make it simple, make it memorable, make it inviting to look at, make it fun to read. So, sa mga product po natin, kailangan po ng mga simple pero madali pong tandaan. Yung tipong kakaiba po at tayo lang po yung gagawa sa mga product natin or business natin para wala po tayong kakompetensya. At maging memorable po to sa ibang mga buyer at maging mas interesado po to sa kanila para bilhin ang ating mga product para sa ating business. Ayon naman po kay Bill Gates, the internet is becoming the town square for the global village of tomorrow. So, napapansin po natin na ngayong mga panahon na to ay nasa internet na po lahat ang mga kailangan natin. Yung mga supplies, mga goods na binibili po natin, minsan nakukuha na lang po natin sa internet. So, minsan po mga negosyo ay internet, based na rin po sa internet. Or yun po. Doon.
Nga po pala si James Aldwin Sardegna ang magrepresent ng Unit 3 or the value proposition. A value proposition is a simple statement that summarizes why a customer would choose your product or service. It communicates the clearest benefits that customers receive by giving you their business. A value proposition can be presented as a business or marketing statement that a company uses to summarize why a consumer should buy a product or use a service. Your business value proposition is arguably the most important element of your overall marketing messaging. A value proposition tells prospect why they should do business with you rather than your competitors, and makes the benefits of your product or receive crystal clear from the outset. Example, Nike offer product to inspire anyone to become an athlete. The definition of value proposition in layman's terms. The value proposition pertains to the benefits that customer would get upon buying a product. As promised by the company who owns it, it is actually a statement which serves as a window for the consumer to see clearly what a certain brand could offer an advantage over other competitors. Imagine having a restaurant that says, "We offer the best pizza in town with fresh ingredient and fast delivery." Their value proposition is letting you know that if you choose their pizza, you'll get high quality food quickly, which is why a great choice compared to other places. Historical. The phrase value proposition is credited to Michael Lannings and Edward Michaels, who first used the term in 1988, staff paper for the consulting firm of McKinsey & Co. In the paper, which was titled "A Business is a Value Delivery System," the author defined value proposition as a clear, simple statement of the benefits, both tangible and intangible, the company will provide along with the approximate price it will charge its customer segment for those benefits. This perspective emphasizes that the primary role of a business is to deliver value to its customer and stakeholder. The value proposition, tangible and intangible benefits. Tangible benefits are those that can be measured in financial terms, securing loans or financial stability, while tangible benefits cannot be quantified directly in economic terms. These benefits include customer satisfaction or customer loyalty. The tangible benefits increase revenue, resource cost saving, hardware cost saving, software cost saving, productivity gain, process improvements. Tangible benefits enhance user experience, increase customer satisfaction, increase compliance, brand equity. Yun lang po yung Unit 3. Thank you.